Yep.
Mic's on.
Yep.
Okay, folks, it's 6:05. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's Wednesday, July 7th. We're in the Lower Theater. There is a Zoom link available for those out in TV land. So that being said, I would make a motion to approve the minutes. Well, it says May 18th and June 20, but if you read the June 2nd meeting, you'll see that we did approve the May 18th meetings. And, well, we approved it with corrections, but the corrections did not get done. Because I read the minutes again today, and Chris Coda's name is still on there, and it was not Chris, it was Casey, and there were a couple other. They did correct some of them, but not all of them. So those minutes have been adopted with the correction, so I don't think we need to approve them again. So we can do the June 2nd, so I'll take a motion to approve the June 2nd meeting.
So moved.
For a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of June 2nd. Are there any discussion, correction? I got a couple, wouldn't you know? The very first page on the Depot Street Bridge Design Alternatives, it said, the last sentence on that page says, a bridge with a sidewalk would then be at the cost of the town and would not be considered part of the project. It's not clear as to saying whether it's the pedestrian bridge or whether it's a bridge either off alignment or on alignment with the sidewalk. I don't know if we want to clear that. And then on the second page, third page of the minutes, Cultural Facilities Grant. There's a couple of dates there. It says June 7th. Is that correct, Dear? You were going to have some figures for June 7th? We didn't have a meeting on that day. That's why. I didn't know if it was July 7th you meant or June 7th.
Let me check on that.
Okay, well,
Regarding the first item, Peter, my understanding was that once the utilities were put under the pedestrian bridge, it did qualify for the state and federal match. And as of our last discussion.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Right.
Yeah.
Was,
But the off alignment would not.
Would not have a sidewalk.
yes.
but what I'm saying is the way that it's written, it doesn't say it's a pedestrian bridge.
It's not totally clear which bridge that last sentence
It just says a
refers
bridge
to.
with a sidewalk on it. So, if the bridge either on or off alignment has a sidewalk on it, it's included. If it's a pedestrian bridge, which just does not state, then the town, we have to pay for it. We have to pay for it, and it's added to the whole project. And then,
But it turned out that we don't.
and then the town ends up
I
owning the
think
bridge.
the issue that made it eligible for reimbursement, and maybe where the confusion lies, is that when you relocate the utilities to the pedestrian bridge, it makes it eligible for reimbursement. If there are no utilities on that bridge, it is not eligible.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where the confusion might lie.
Yeah, I don't know, it just,
Yep.
it just wasn't clear when you read the thing, at least to mine. So, anyone else have any suggestions, corrections, additions, omissions?
Cultural facilities paragraph is accurate.
Yeah, okay, I wasn't sure, I would just question the date, because it wasn't,
The date is right, the grant was.
I know your
June
grant,
7th,
your
and
grant
so
had to
we
be on
have
the June
before us
7th.
and-
Okay, because we didn't have a meeting on June 7th, that's why I was. All right, motion been made and seconded to approve the minutes of June 2nd with the corrections so noted. All those in favor would say aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Additions to the agenda for routine administrative matters and/or pressing matters that will require ratification at a future meeting.
No, there was no additions for tonight's
We do have one.
this one.
The appointment for RLF, it needs to, if you're gonna vote on it needs to be an action item, needs to be on the agenda. I know we have to ratify it again at the next meeting, but,
Right.
so, that's the only thing I have. We should
We
probably,
didn't put it on for action because at this point, we were just doing the updates to the revolving loan fund.
yeah,
as
we can
well
do that,
as
we can include
the
that on.
consideration of the people, and then I think we'll finalize the appointment if there was no other additions or anybody else.
Yeah, we can
We'll finalize
add
them
that
at
into,
the August meeting.
on 4, we'll just go through it
Right.
when we do the other.
I've
yeah,
got one item
right.
here. Didn't the Conservation Commission submit a new member that we should approve. And they wrote a letter to us 2 weeks ago or last week.
Got it, planning commission, I'll have to check, I don't recall. It's
Conservation
possible.
Conservation
It's
Commission.
possible,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because I was at their meeting when they sent that letter to the select board.
Yeah, all right, I'll
I
check.
mean, Peter's online. Maybe he remembers.
Mr. Bergstrom, are you on?
Yes,
Yeah.
Caroline Kenny was interested and was going to send a letter.
Okay.
I don't know whether she did.
You didn't
I
receive it?
did see an email. I think you may have sent it that said that she was interested and she was
Yeah.
going to follow up with a letter, but I don't know if
I
Scott
haven't
got
seen
one
a
or not.
letter, so,
Okay,
okay,
all right.
I can check to see if
I
there's been
thought
any other
she-
correspondence. Would she have sent it to the clerk directly? Is that possible?
I remember seeing
She might have.
Caroline, her last name is just Kenny, just K-E.
Kenny, Keneny. No, Kenny.
Thank you.
Oh, one of those.
I
One or the other.
think she copied me.
A, B, C, or none of the above.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. All right.
Okay,
We'll do some
Okay.
follow-up on that.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
so do you want to wait for that letter and do the appointment?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, that'll
'Cause
be on
unless
next meeting.
Yeah, we usually get a letter.
Okay, next item is the public comment on items on the agenda, 3 minutes a person.
Oh, no, it's not on the agenda.
This would be the lady from Bartonsville has you would prefer if you'd use a mic and then just announce who you are. You just push the button on there, it should work. There you go.
My name is Laura Rounds, and I am a resident of Rockingham on Green Mountain Turnpike out by Lower Bartonsville Road. And I am concerned about the speeding that's been going on Lower Bartonsville Road. I walk daily with my childcare program and my children, my own children, and we see people speeding up and down the road frequently. And I'm hoping that we can do something to be proactive about that so that nobody gets hurt. It seems to be like it's more frequently lately, and I am just hoping that we can find a solution to keep everybody safe out there.
Any questions from the board? I know Sue, you brought it up before.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But the last time you brought it up, we did hire somebody and they sat up there and after they left, then the hot rod started again, like from what you said, I think.
Well, when they did Wyndham County
We did some
Commission,
speed
they
work,
did put
right?
a marker down, but they put it at the corner where everyone slows down. It's that sharp corner by the stone house, and it was the wrong place. I mean, to get a good indication of where people are speeding, because that's exactly where they slow down. And sorry. So there, and then I think at one point Chip went and just sat there, but he was there for an hour maybe. I can't remember, but yeah, it's a problem. And they do those, and they speed right past those kids. I see it all the time. They're not even slowing down when there's 8 or 10 kids walking on the side of the road. And I see it in the morning when I'm out for a run early in the morning. I see it when we're out midday. I see it. I mean, it's not just one time. And we were wondering if it would slow down maybe with the vet's office moving, but that has not helped anything at all.
So it's mostly through the village area there where you're experiencing it?
Yes, yep. The flat part up at the top of the hill all the way down to where the vet's office is. Not just there, but that's mostly where it's the worst because it's flat and it's easy to get going pretty quickly.
So what can you do? You take that up with the police, or
Oh, I mean, we
Did-
don't have any.
you don't
patrols
have
out
any
there.
police?
The only ones that go, it's the state police and they're not gonna bother with speeders. I mean, if there was a fatality out there, I'm sure they'd be.
Can
maybe
our
doing it.
highway department make a slow down sign or something?
Well, there's a
was
speed
some
limit sign there, isn't there, anyway, but
There
nobody.
is, but they don't. I mean, it might help if we do, at least for some of the more honest people, or people grab their attention, is to put one of those flashing signs. You know, when you come into town, when I come into town, it catches your eye, and if it's flashing at you, it might help to slow
Right.
down.
Yeah.
And
I know where I live, people come up from Gageville and they've got a sign that tells you if you're going too fast. And a lot of times I'm going 28, I'm supposed to be going 25. I'm like, whoops,
Yeah,
So-
The units that Chester used all through town, that they run off solar and they give feedback and they say slow down or thank you if you're
Mhm.
going at the speed limit or below. And they said it seemed like they'd had success with those and they had less speeding.
Can
Saxon Druid has the same.
Sax River has
same
one,
one.
Saxon's River has the same
Seems to
thing?
work.
Is there
And those
something
solar
that
ones
the,
work good.
Yeah.
I've never
Select
seen them
board can
out,
do?
even during the night. You go out there, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and they're still working, believe
Yep.
it or not.
Yeah.
And they're solar.
Yep.
Hey,
No,
Oh,
Peter,
Peter wanted
well,
to
Peter
comment.
Bergstrom.
Mr. Bergstrom,
We're actually looking into getting more of those in Saxon River on the south side of town. They cost about $2,000 a piece. And if you want to, you can ask Jeff Nugent at Wyndham Regional Commission to do a traffic study. It's not required. I mean, there's already speeding there, but they put out traffic counters that record both speed and direction. So at least you'd have some idea. And they can put them in up to 3 locations. It might help you decide where to put a sign, but you have to raise the money for it yourself.
Well, I'm not sure another traffic study at this point is probably worth it. I think it's more a question of if people that are there have some sense of where a sign might be appropriate, and if the board wants to appropriate money, we can certainly put a sign out there. It's gonna, like you said, it's about a $2,000 investment.
so that could come from the general fund or something like that?
You could spend that money out of the highway fund, you spend it lots of different ways, yes.
And do you have to have them in both directions, Scott, or not?
I think you should probably separate them, and I'm sure
One
there's
time,
probably
yeah.
locations on each direction of travel that are probably more problematic, so, maybe if you had some indication of where you wanted them, it'd be about a $4,000 investment to try it.
Should we make a motion to appropriate money for that?
Or would a study?
and there's nothing in the budget, but you can, if there's any,
You can
We haven't
direct me
spent.
to
You
do
can-
something, and
we can try and find
order
some.
them and try to put them out there, and we'll figure out how to make
Well,
it work
could-
within the budget.
What about before thinking about spending the money on them? Could we rent the temporary mobile signs and put out there for a while and try that as an experiment or something?
Yeah, Wyndham County Sheriff has those ones that are on trailers.
Cart-
Not a
cart
cart.
signs, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but we were supposed to be on that list years ago, and it's never made it to us, so,
Yeah, it's a tough,
yeah.
yeah.
I think at that point, yeah, I mean, it's not the only road, obviously, that people are speeding, but the Lower Bartonsville Road is 25 miles an hour. The Cambridgeport Road also, I get a lot of complaints from people who walk on that road, and that's 30 miles an hour, and they're still flying down that road.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's, I mean, the nice thing of a mobile one is you could move it from time to time instead of a permanent one. I don't know how difficult it is, but the solar ones can't be that difficult to relocate either.
The one Sax River, Peter, it doesn't have a concrete. Didn't they have to dig a concrete base for it and pour it?
Yes, but you can put up multiple posts and move around the item on top. The ones in Saxon's River were funded by donations, so if the town is thinking about paying for them, it'd be nice to have some sort of application process.
Right. And a traffic study doesn't cost us anything, and is there value to
No.
it?
It could help you decide where to put the signs. It certainly will give you an idea of how fast people are going. The sheriff's carts do too. But yeah, Jeff, they had them on Pleasant Street in Saxon River, and the highest speed measured was 54 in a 25 zone.
Wow.
So there are people speeding out there.
Yeah.
Well,
Definitely is.
Something like that would sort of validate the need for,
But as
Yep.
Scott said, we've done studies before, and you got 2 residents that live out there
Right.
that are
Right.
telling you it's going on, so I
Yeah.
really
Yep.
can't see taking,
Yeah.
it just delays the action of putting
Yeah,
a
'cause it
sign out.
takes-
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
it'll take him, because we're not the only location, so we'll have to get on the list, and then he'll have to put them out, collect 2 or 3 weeks of data, so you won't have that till late in the fall.
Right.
Yeah, and we did it last year. It's just I happened to put it
Yes.
in the wrong place. There was traffic studies done all over. I mean, most of them, we had 7, I think, here in the village, which I didn't quite
Yeah, there
grasp the
were a
need
number
for
of 'em,
that
yeah.
when we've got us police here.
Yeah.
And only Bartonsville got that because other residents have complained.
Mm.
Um, so I know there's other towns that, I would say if you're gonna do a traffic study, put it on other roads where people are complaining. We know they're speeding on Lower
Okay.
Bartonsville Road, and we could easily tell you where a good place would be to put it.
So what can we do for the folks that live out there? Or what do we have the power to do?
Well, you just said if you want to look at putting a sign out there, then we just can direct the manager to see what we can dig up for a sign and
Okay, I'm gonna go for it. I move that we direct our municipal manager to look into putting up signage on Bartonsville Road, Lower Bartonsville Road, to post the speed limit and warn people when they are exceeding it.
do here a second.
I'll second.
And now we can have discussion.
Now we
Most-
have
yes.
discussion.
There's an equity issue here. The people of Saxon's River dug into their pockets and paid for it out of, I mean, does that strike anyone as a little weird? That we're gonna,
But
We're
I
not-
think it's kind of different though, because that was their whole Main Street downtown, the area. This is more residential. There's not that many people out there.
that's true. So raising money would be difficult.
It wouldn't be that easy to raise money like it was, for the center of Saxon's River.
Good point.
And the truth be known, that the town highway crew did put the signs up. The village had nothing to do with it. They bought the signs, but
The
village crew-
labor, the
highway crew
installation.
put the signs up,
Okay.
just so you know.
All right. Thanks.